Mike, your big project this year is the Horizon, and I know you don't want to call it a set-top box, the Horizon device or platform. Can you tell me a little bit about how important that is for Liberty Global and what your goals are for it this year particularly? I know
well, a couple things. One, I think it shows our ability to be extremely innovative in our industry and to launch something that's never been launched before. I think that's important, not just for us, but for the entire industry. It's going to set our sort of consumer expectations and the quality of the consumer experiences at a whole new level. Secondly, it's going to help us continue to convert what's historically been about 1 million customers a year to our digital platform. It's going to draw people to that platform, and we have 9 million customers waiting to experience that. Thirdly, I think it allows us to answer a lot of questions that consumers have about our platform, like why can't I bring my web content in, or why can't I move it to my iPad or my PC screen. I mean, these are things that are just expectations these days, and so it answers those questions for us, not as a company, but also as an industry. It's exciting. It's a big deal for us, and we're the second quarter this year, but throughout the year we'll be rolling it out to 4 countries.
Do you think that the OTT players that are out there and are entering the European market, for example with Netflix in the UK, present any kind of competitive threat to
Well, sure, they always present some kind of threat. To dismiss them entirely would be foolish. I will say that 2 things. One, that our Horizon will be available online, so for free. So you'd have to ask yourself the question, why would I pay Netflix or anybody else to get old library content on my PC if I can get new catch-up premium content from my cable provider for free on my PC? So it does create a problem for their business model, I would have thought. Someone's already paying us, so why would they pay someone twice? And then secondly, we will in certain instances try to cooperate with some of the more successful or the folks who have content we don't have to get them embedded into our environment, just to be inclusive if we can be. I'm not saying that'll happen in every instance, but we're certainly open-minded to that.
You mentioned this morning, I think, that Germany offered some pretty exciting growth prospects, perhaps the most exciting for 25 years that you've seen. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why the German market?
First of all, it's a large market, not just for us, but a large market. Secondly, we're starting with an asset that has largely been unexploited in terms of both the technology capability and the marketing capability of the network. So we have 12.5 million homes passed, but 15% penetration of voice and data. So based on our experience in other countries, it would lead you to believe we can continue to penetrate voice and data, whether it's through market share gains or just pure organic growth, and we're going to do that. So there's raw upside from a volume perspective. And then thirdly, the ARPUs in Germany are very low. It isn't like some markets where you're coming in very high and fearful of a decline. Our ARPUs when we started with Unity were, I think, 13 or 14 euros. Now we're up to 17 euros per customer. So we're driving ARPUs north through a combination of bundling and just stability in the core product. So it's got those factors. It's large, it's got an unexploited, very advanced network, huge demand for the products and services, and unsatisfied demand for products and services, and ARPU upside. So it's in great margins. It's kind of got everything. It's not without risk, but it has a lot of very positive things.
Do you think there are still issues outstanding in terms of telecoms regulation that you'd really...
I think there's lots of issues outstanding. I think in general we're pleased with the basic framework and the basic support we get as an industry, but we're really very small. There's some numbers given today. I mean, we're 7,000 operators generating 20 billion of revenue. There's 23 telcos generating 275 billion of revenue. So we've got a lot of work to do to get our message out, and that message is essentially, we're all about competition, and we're extremely, small players in the scheme of things. We don't want our relative success in the last 12 to 24 months to somehow change the paradigm. And we can't let others characterize us, which is kind of what's happening a little bit. Telcos who are struggling for their own reasons, nothing to do with us, are starting to recharacterize us as somehow, successful, worthy of regulation, things of that nature, which would just be a tragedy, not just for us, but for the industry and for them. Because if we're not pushing them, who's going to push them? The regulators have shown an inability to get telcos to do anything with respect to fiber or next generation networks, anything. In fact, in some cases, they've created disincentives. Well, I can assure you that if somehow we're out of the picture, the incentives are even less. So it's hard to see a situation where that'll result, but we're always vigilant to ensure that it won't.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot.